everyone. Welcome to joining us this week on the Cowlcast. Joining me this week are
Mike
and Mikey,
and I'm Demoan. And this week we are diving right into Gotham City, America's safest and happiest city, an almost crime-free utopia, a place where everyone leads life they want to, and everything shines bright and is beautiful, and it's wonderful. And this is how Gotham has always been.
It sucks.
Yeah, well, you would know this from the title, but we're reading the Gothtopia storyline that took place. Well, yeah, 52 Detective Comics numbers started in 27. It was one of the stories in the giant 27 issue for the 75th anniversary of Batman, and then was finished in 28 and 29. Written by John Layman, who is famous for writing Chew. And
he did Chew.
Yeah.
Okay, I know Chew.
And the first part's drawn by Jason Fabok, and then the second two parts are drawn by Aaron Lopresti.
Okay.
It also ties into Batwing 28 and 27, Catwoman 28 and 27, Birds of Prey 28 and 27, and then Batgirl 27.
And you decided to read all of those because you hate yourself.
I decided to read all the tie-ins because I wanted to get the full story, which only two of them are really connected to the main story. And unanswered question.
Yeah, when you said you wanted to do Gothtopia, I looked it up online, and every reading order said that you don't have to read the tie-ins.
Yeah.
Then you really don't. There's only two of the tie-ins actually reference the real story.
All right.
The Batgirl and the second Birds of Prey.
All right. Well, now that we have our information out of the way, Demoan, take it away. What happens in this story?
Okay. Well, our friend Scarecrow has deviated from his usual thing of making everyone afraid and has want to live. Now, at first, this is obviously not Scarecrow's usual MO, but he has his reasons. He thinks that if people live a life of pure happiness, when he hits them with the fear gas, they'll have a more pure form of fear. And it's fucking with the populace. And there's just a rising suicide rate of everyone else who's been hit by the fear gas.
Well,
because
yeah, that's
they're
the
seeing
thing.
how everything really is.
It's the Gotham crime rate is like down 99%, but like suicides are up dramatically.
Are up like 300.
Yeah,
it's wild,
weird.
Which is kind of creepy, but the thing with the story is it's only 3 issues. And I felt like there could have been, like, a lot more mileage you could get out of it. Like, this probably could have been a 6er. Or at least a 5. But when I read this story, like, as I was reading it, I don't know if you guys have seen the episodes of Batman the Animated Series. One called Dreams in Darkness, which is where Batman gets captured by the Scarecrow and put in Arkham Asylum. And the other one being Perchance to Dream, which when the Mad Hatter kidnaps Batman and makes him think of like a happy Gotham City where Bruce was never Batman, like those two.
I watched those.
It was like John Layman basically saw those 2 episodes and kind of basically like mashed them together for me. But those 2 episodes are still better than this story.
Yeah.
This story had a plethora of problems.
Yeah, everything wasn't really that good.
I don't think it's like the problems are just like it's just so beat by beat. It's just like, oh, okay. Like there's there's nothing we haven't seen before here.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of suspense, which I don't.
There's no like any awe moments or anything. It's just like something just like we've seen before.
Yeah,
it's just Batman does stuff in like I guess a logical order for Batman.
Yeah, it's a very beat by beat Batman figures it out story. Like, and then Poison Ivy's there to also like help him make the antidote and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the only thing is like it's a lot of it is shock value because like you start with like Batman wearing this white costume with no white eye slits.
It's really weird. It's so weird.
And Catwoman is his Robin.
Yeah, Catwoman's his Robin, but they also have a sexual relationship.
Yeah, it's weird.
Her Robin costume is quite possibly the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah, every alternate costume, but like the Batgirl one, is pretty terrible.
Yeah, I really love the Batgirl one.
Yeah, the Batgirl one's pretty nice. But they go and call her Batgirl, unless they call it Bluebell, I believe.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a new, because Catwoman gets a new name too. She is now Catbird.
Yeah.
Catbird.
Because that makes complete sense.
Well, the whole thing, like, it all happens so fast. Like, while they go to investigate the suicides, Batman gets nipped by a thorn in the Wayne Manor garden. And then like he immediately like snaps out of it. And I was like, oh.
What? I thought it was a poison ivy thorn.
It was a poison ivy thorn.
Yeah.
But which is from the beginning of the issue, because Poison Ivy's trying to tell Batman, hey, nothing's right, fix this. And he's just like, because she's still under the toxin.
Scarecrow's thrown out there.
And then like after that, it's like a beat by beat like Batman story where he purposely gets captured and thrown in Arkham Asylum, which is instead the Crane Center for Health and Wellness.
Yeah, and like his team is like Harley Quinn, Merrymaker, Professor Pig, and Mr. Freeze. I think is
which was kind of neat. And then like Killer Croc is the head warden.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like that's the end of part 1 is him getting thrown in Arkham. Part 2 is just him. Like, he's just running around Arkham. Like, he's able to get out of his cell, like, very easily. Because, like, even though he doesn't have the utility belt.
Because he was invited for some reason to check out the new facilities, like, a month ago. So now he knows everything about the new Arkham.
Yeah.
Which, that makes sense. But, like...
But here's the thing that doesn't make sense. They left him in his suit. Like, they
didn't even take out his suit at all.
Like, they took his utility belt, which is fine. But, like, they didn't try to unmask him. They had him exactly where they wanted him. They could have taken him down for good, but they leave his suit on first of all, which is.
And then they put like his inmate like outfit, like the orange attire, over his suit, which I think is the weirdest thing.
But like he just slips that off and starts running around and like beating up bad guys and stuff. Like he takes out the flamingo, which is from Morrison's run. He's a cannibal bounty hunter that eats people.
That's ew.
Gosh, did not know that.
Yeah, the flamingo is much cooler in Morrison's Batman and Robin than he was in this.
No, I can imagine, but like that's still a weird concept to go by.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But like going into this, prior to reading it, I was just thinking it's a typical Batman story, like it's whatevs. But then like you see like Poison Ivy like telling people, wake up, you have to know the truth. So I'm like, she's talking about plants and shit until you see Batman in his weird white costume and like I was thinking like, this is not a typical Batman story. Something's wrong. Like,
did you enjoy seeing Poison Ivy's crappy New 52 suit?
Oh, I've seen this costume before. I've always hated it. So
it's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't want to I just want to say that first part of the story in Detective 27 was drawn by Jason Fabok, who is a great artist.
That looks so familiar. Yeah.
He's an awesome artist.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And it only hurts the story that he doesn't do the rest of it. Because Aaron Lopresti comes on, and Aaron Lopresti's art is okay. It's very DC kind of standard art. But I felt like the story would just be a little bit better if, Fabok was on the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better.
Like, at the very least, it would have been more appealing to look at.
His art fits the tone for what the story is, in my opinion.
Better than what the change was.
Yeah. I always get Jim Lee vibes from Jason Fabok's art, because he usually is the Jim. Like if you can't get Jim Lee, you get Jason Fabok.
Yeah, their styles are really similar.
And I believe Fabok did parts of Darkseid War.
Yes, he did. He did. Yeah, that's where I recognize.
That was kind of like his coming out party when everyone was like, "Oh wow, this guy's great."
Yeah, Darkseid War was a pretty cool story to look at because of his art. So.
But part 2 is just Batman running around and he teams up with Ivy, and then Scarecrow's like, "Oh, I have all of your allies kidnapped, and if you do anything, I'll kill them."
Yep.
Yeah. But it just, I don't know. It feels, I guess, mundane.
Mundane, yeah. Like I also find it funny, like when he reveals he has the rest of the Bat family, they're all wearing their actual costumes but with sacks over their heads.
Yeah.
And it's just
also,
okay.
Talon is there, and I was like,
that's actually kind of comical. I do like that.
Did you guys like seeing Talon there?
Talon?
Talon was there, yeah.
He was front and center. They got Batwoman, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Talon at that end page. You don't even get Robin or Nightwing.
Yeah.
Ooh, but speaking of Batgirl, she did have an issue before this where she went to some lady was poisoning everyone through ice cream. The Joker ice cream factory.
Oh my god.
Yep, Joker ice cream, and some lady was poisoning her, and Batgirl had to stop her.
Oh my gosh.
I'm happy I didn't read these tie-ins.
Yeah, I'm happy too.
This was the second best tie-in, so like.
Well, before we talk about the third and final issue, you want to run down all the tie-ins then for us?
Yeah, I will run out. So the Batgirl tie-in only had one issue, and it was just the ice cream issue I was talking about.
Okay.
And then like that issue was actually fine. Like it wasn't the worst issue. It was actually kind of cool. In the issue, she met like an enemy that she had in real life named Nightfall, who was like Carnus or something.
That's a terrible name.
Cherry's Car. It's like a real villain she has, but like the villain name is Nightfall, but like in the story she got called Daybreak, and they were partners.
Okay.
And then we move on to Batwing, and Batwing also has a name change, and he is now Fox.
Flying Fox. No, it's the
Flying Fox. You're right.
It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, he says it himself. It's a bit spot on.
Isn't the Flying Fox the name of the mobile fortress Batman has in the Justice League film?
I think so.
I could not tell you.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, I feel like.
But like but the thing is, he's the son of the head of Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah, it's Luke Fox, right?
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's that. So apparently, this is really weird because like he walks around the city for 2 days in the very first issue without even realizing it, thinking he's in the Gothtopia. But you get like glimpses of everything switching back and forth where it's just garbage. And then he also fights this enemy who like rules the underground, and they kidnap his sister, and in the process he frees his whole family from the Scarecrow toxin. But then he finds out his sister's been taken, and then the next issue is just him trying to find out where his sister goes. And then that's the last Gothtopia tie-in, and you have to read more Batwing and not Gothtopia to learn more about that.
Did you read more Batwing?
Yeah, more Batwing. And then after that, there's Birds of Prey. And Birds of Prey, the 28 was actually probably my favorite tie-in issue. And you get to see all their blue and white costumes. And the Black Canary costume and the Batgirl costume are probably the only ones that look really good in blue and white.
All right.
But that's 28. But 27, they just got back off a mission, and they find this lady who's an enemy of Ra's al Ghul. But they've also found Black Canary's, I guess, presumed dead husband. And the old lady who's an enemy of Ra's al Ghul is trying to help heal him. Ooh, but do you guys remember Court of Owls?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Remember the assassin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a female assassin on that team called Strix.
Strix?
Strix. Mm-hmm.
Oh, name, man.
So she's there. She doesn't say anything, so I think she's mute. And they run through the scenario where a guy named Condor goes through how he used to be a villain and why he's now a hero and helping them. Black Canary also leaves the team as leader. And then they go to Gotham City, and Black Canary's back because she realized everything was wrong, but she's also under the spell. And here's the trick. Ra's al Ghul comes to her with a life potion to save her almost dead ex-husband, and she has to put some thought to accepting the offer or not, whether she's going to help him.
Wait, and this is the Birds of Prey tie-in, right, that you're talking about?
Yeah, this is the Birds of Prey tie-in.
What's going on, dude?
There's a lot going on. It's because, like, none of to the story at all. Like, it's just the only one that has any real connection is the Batgirl one.
Okay.
Like, it's been that much. And then you go to Catwoman, and Catwoman, she meets what quite possibly might be the dumbest villain I've ever met. He's a thief, and he's an ex-Air Force veteran. And I want you to get this. He was injured so he couldn't walk, and they did surgery on him where they hollowed out his bones, and now he can walk again.
Wait. What?
They hollowed out his bones, so he can walk again. But he also has an exoskeleton that gives him the ability to fly. So he's a man he's a literal bird person. He has hollow bones. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But I'm not gonna lie, some of the way they do the Catwoman piece is fun because like it switches back from her being actual Catwoman and her being Cat Bird, which I think is fun. And then they have this scene where she has a dream where she fights herself, which I think is cool. But besides that, it's just a clusterfuck of weird ideas. It's just, and then they end it with her setting up a heist where she's gonna work with this new bird person to do some kind of crime. And then that's the last Gothtopia tie-in. They don't finish a single Gothtopia tie-in story. It's just tie-ins for the sake of tie-ins.
Which are never the best tie-ins. That's never a good reason.
Yep.
No, that's never a good reason to have a tie-in. It was obvious that everyone had a story they wanted to do, but they were forced to make a Gothtopia tie-in, and they just deviated all. The only one that did was Batgirl, and that's why. Actually, now that I think about it, Batgirl was my favorite tie-in because it actually did something for the not story, but it was a decent tie-in that applied to the story.
All right.
Well, and then back to our final and third part. Batman is suckered into joining this cavalcade of mad doctors because if they don't, they'll kill his friends.
That's right.
And then Batman just pulls I'll go with them for a little bit, and then I'm going to turn on them.
but they think he's completely under their control. Completely under their control.
Yeah.
Right.
A thing. But Batman is just pretending because that's what Batman does.
Because Batman. And hey, look, another panel where little Bruce sees his parents dead.
Mm-hmm. Just to remind everyone that's how Batman started.
Yeah. We should start keeping a running counter of the amount of times we see his dead parents. Like that same panel of him looking down and sad on his dead parents in this podcast.
It's got to be at least 6 so far. Pretty like twice per episode, almost twice per episode. At least once or twice per episode.
Right. So
now they've sent Batman out to conduct the sphere experiments that they've been doing, where they finally bring people out of it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, instead of just going to find random people, they let Batman, who's under their control, choose the targets.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman ruins people, but you find out later that the people he's ruined, he's chosen specifically because they are ex-cons who don't stay behind bars and still commit crimes. So he's trying to make sure that they're afraid of him in the future so they don't commit crimes anymore. So Batman always has an agenda, even when Batman's under someone else's control.
So I'm going to steal a line from iFanboy's podcast here, where Josh usually goes when he talks about a book. This is stupid, or this is stupid. I'm going to say, this is stupid.
I think my least favorite part, though, is how he finally solves the problem, because it's so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get this weird juice whenever they put someone through the fear toxin. So Batman hands the juice over to the people, but he's put in the cure for the toxins of Scarecrow.
Yeah, so when they launch the blimps, it's actually dispensing the cure.
Yeah.
Like, all right, everything's wrapped up nice. They beat the good guys, snap out of it. They help Batman beat up all the villains, and they send Scarecrow back to Arkham, which he thinks that Scarecrow thinks he's won because he's still affected by the fear toxin.
Yeah, but in reality, he's like in a straight jacket.
Now he feels that it's the best thing ever for him.
Yeah, in reality, he's just talking to himself in a straight jacket in a panic room in Arkham Asylum.
And then we cut to our epilogue, which is some days later, where Catwoman and Batman are talking on a rooftop, and Catwoman's like, "So, did you like that, like, when we were together thing?" And Bruce is like, "I only like that Gotham was safe, nothing else." Which is funny considering, like, 3 years later, we are 2 issues away from Batman and Catwoman getting married.
Mm-hmm.
But this was Layman's last arc on the book.
Yep, because the number 30 would feature a new creative team.
Yes, it was Francis Manapul and Brian Buscello. I believe they did 2 arcs. They did their first arc was Icarus. And it was Manapul on art as well as writing. And I remember reading that when Manapul came on. It's not bad.
Yeah, Manapul does a decent job, so I'd expect something at least decent.
I'd say, if you're wondering, skip Gothtopia and just read Icarus.
Yeah, that's what I'd go with that.
The story sucked, man.
It doesn't, like, I've definitely read worse Batman stories. This is not like a Batman Hush Returns or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
a rough
there.
Story, but, like, it's not because it's, like, a bad plot or anything, bad art. It's because it's, like, it feels stale. Like, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah, there's nothing, like, special to it. It's just a typical Batman story.
Well, no, I disagree. When you say it's not a bad story, it's a story we've seen before.
I guess that's true. Because you said it was the other two, the Mad Hatter and the Scarecrow combined.
Yeah, like, and those episodes came out in the 90s, and then I'm sure there's been there's other stories where Batman gets captured and he's, like, locked in Arkham and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like for people who, like, haven't, like, read any Batman or, like, watch animated series, like, they would actually enjoy this, like, a lot.
I feel like if this is around the first things you read of Batman, it's not going to be...
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to hate it. But, like...
Well, yeah, but, like...
Batman,
I think...
it's going to be...
I think, this is a story that's not going to stay in your head, though. Regardless of, like, if you're a new comic reader or an old comic reader. This thing's going to fade fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Overall, like, it's a fun little romp, but, like, it's nothing to write home about. The alternate costumes are pretty stupid and terrible. And then
except for maybe 1 or 2.
It's all wrapped up so fast and with such a cute bow that it honestly passes by so fast.
It has no repercussions anywhere. So, like...
Yeah. The thing is, like, they don't mention Gordon and, like...
Well, Gordon's in the story.
They mentioned Gordon in Batwing because someone's selling a drug in Batwing, and Gordon's like, our normal methods aren't working. And that was kind of the end of Gordon.
And, like, what's it called? Like, Black Mask is commissioner, and, like, Cobblepot's mayor. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah, like, they don't really do anything with that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like... This as a mention, you know?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see what was up with that. Like, it was supposed to be the whole city, and we only focus on this very small sect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's why it should have been, like, 5 or 6 issues.
Yeah, because it could have, like, done a lot more world building, but, I mean, whatever.
Like, because the concept that they set for it is moderately interesting if they decide to execute it with a little more expanse, I guess. But, like, they kind of focused on such a small area that... really do much.
And this isn't like I said, this isn't a time. The Detective Comics book at this time was really just kind of another throwaway Batman book.
After reading this, I can see that.
Like, Snyder was still on his run, and that was the flagship, and then, like, Batman Eternal, I believe, was going on at this point as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, it was just starting. So this book was not like...
Yeah.
This was like a C tier book. Like, it wasn't even the B book.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, yeah, it's the story. It happened.
I mean, yeah, we're probably going to forget about it after, like, the next podcast, so.
This is part of the Batman mythos, for better or worse.
Yep. And it, like I said, it's by John Layman. The guy wrote Chew. Like, that's a pretty big indie book.
Yeah, Chew's actually, like, my library back at, like, my high school had, like 20 volumes just of Chew, and I read a couple, and they're actually pretty good.
But overall, I think we've said our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is it time to get in that fun time when we see what we're reading next week?
That's right. And
yeah.
Mike, you got the pick.
Has the pick for next week?
I have the pick, actually.
That's right. So what have you chosen, Mikey?
I've chosen Batman, Sword of Azrael, because Azrael's cool.
The miniseries from the 90s, written by Dennis O'Neil and drawn by Joe Quesada, I believe.
Yeah, can't wait to read this thing.
Yeah, introduces Azrael, who eventually takes over for Batman.
Yay! We love Azrael Batman.
It's because this is a prelude to Nightfall. So, hey, it's by Batman legend Dennis O'Neil, so it can't all be bad.
Yeah, it's not gonna be terrible.
Hopefully, it's better than what we've read this week.
I think it will be, just because Dennis O'Neil. I rarely dislike a Dennis O'Neil comic book, but the art, it'll be interesting to see Joe Quesada draw Batman, mostly just because he's a Daredevil artist to me.
Yeah, I've never seen Joe Quesada do any DC stuff, and most Daredevil and stuff.
Well, Joe Quesada did design the Azrael Batman armor. So.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. But anything else to say? Looks like we're headed out here.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else to think of this.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Skip it or don't. It's really up to you.
If you do want to read this story, I believe it's collected in New 52 Detective Comics Volume 5. I believe that collects issues 25 through 29. I could be wrong.
27 is the anniversary issue, so.
Yeah, that's where the story starts. All of Gothtopia is in there, definitely. So, you want to leave us with those familiar words?
Yeah. So, join us next time on the Cowcast. And remember, get home safe.
Get home safe.
Bye, everyone.